My name is Hanan Noor. I'm 21. I study at University of Salford, doing films, just fashion, image making, and styling. My parents lived in Somalia. They were born and raised there. They had to kind of like flee the civil war in Somalia at the time. So they were refugees in Yemen, so that's where they settled, and that's where my siblings were born. So I'm kind of like a second generation immigrant or in Yemen, and then I moving away here, like a it's another stamp.
So my name is Carlos Vicente. I am from Cape Verde. Cape Verde is in northwestern African Iceland, 10 little islands.
My name is Tendai Matsonzo, and I am a mother, I am a grandmother, I am a wife, I am a woman, I am a student, a very mature student. This one is Rosero in Shona. I didn't do my homework properly, so I don't know what it is called in Ndebele, but I'm sure there will be just a slight difference. Rusero in English is an equivalent to a winnowing tray. Yeah, we have different sizes of Rusero. So you put your grain, and remember we have beans, now it's grain. This one is rukweza. Okay, you'll be winnowing it like this, and all the chaff will be blown away by the wind. So this is already done. So from the field, it will not be like this. It will be on a stalk. So you pound it with a long stick or long logs, specially made for this. What is called mupuro in Shona.
The niqab is a face veil. Normally, Muslim women wear it to like cover their face.
Yes, it's connected with painting because since I was a kid, I wanted to paint. I've chosen my cultural object to be my hands because it's with my hands that I partially communicate. It's with my hands I've sold the fish, I've fixed the fish. It's with my hands that I draw. It's with the hands that my father used to fish. It's with the hands that they build the houses in my country because we didn't really have that much machinery. Because these countries like England, they produce these big machines for construction. So in my country, well, at least in the area I was born, the houses were very small, neglected by the highest people in my country.
It is a very important woman's item, accessory. It's part of the utensils which you use in the kitchen. So you must have it. And it also reminds me, it reconnects me. The moment I have this in me, it reconnects me with where I truly belong, that I'm a Zimbabwean. It reminds me on a daily basis on as I have mentioned, what do I need to keep? What do I need to throw away? It also reminds me the way it is, made with the Zimbabwean ilala. It's a special material, plant and fiber. So it is symbolic in all areas, socially, intellectually, emotionally. It reminds me of who I am all the time, at whatever level I see myself. So it is very important, and it is a key in every Zimbabwean family, wherever they are. They have a form of this, in different sizes. Yeah. As a Zimbabwean, I am not a single person. I am a package. So it's like when you have your microphone, it comes with the SD card, it comes with batteries. You can not have the microphone without the batteries and all this. So I cannot be a woman, a mother, a grandmother without this. Yeah, I will be incomplete.
When you go back to Yemen, and like every woman has a different type. There's different brands, different materials. So it's kind of like they just treat it as like a normal day-to-day accessory, but to me it's art. It's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. That's I have nothing negative to say about the face veil, except for what it's been used for. It's kind of been bullied, but yeah, not in a good way.
Well, mine's a kind of nostalgic because it's with them that I've learned how to speak to the world, you know. And it is to my hands that I've had confidence as well. Because from the moment I realized I could help my mum selling fish in the market, I felt useful in the family. That made me confident because I was actually going there to do something. I was not like the other kids. The fathers, they're going to work. They have to stay sat down in the neighborhood. Because our fathers, they couldn't pay us to go in these night vacations, you know, with these other kids during summer. You know. So this summer, I spent all summer selling fish with my mum. We would play basketball in the afternoon with my hands too. You know. So I've always scared of my hands, not to break it, not to injure myself. Because I knew that if something very bad happens with my hands, my mum wouldn't be happy because I wouldn't be able to help her anymore.
It definitely is what drives me to do a career in fashion, or to like look at it as, what, like, this is what my upbringing was. And I think that it needs attention, it needs that kind of like support, it needs that livelihood in terms of like, the art world, and like how people should redefine the beauty of what niqab really means. It doesn't mean anything. It's not supposed to be oppressive, it's not supposed to be bringing down like a woman. It's more of like, it protects women, it brings worth to it's like, so it has so many different kind of like interpretations. I don't have to show face. I don't have to live a life where people know who I am. I can be this person who's still making art, still in the fashion industry, especially within a carbon. Like, you can know me for my name, you can know me for who I am, you can know my past and stuff. But if I did choose a career, like a life where I want to pursue religion very seriously, and I want to wear a niqab, and I think it would be more important to be accepted for that.
The job that I have now is like, is in the hospital. I work as a therapeutic activity coordinator at Manchester Royal Infirmary. My job is to lift people's mood, you know. I get to be myself, a little bit creative with the words, with the way I move as well, probably. And I get to paint with some patients. I get to paint other patients. Because even if people have no interest in what I'm doing, when I am myself, they appreciate my character, because I'm not hiding nothing. Not just to work for myself, but it gives me a sense of freedom from the fact that I am capable.
Mm-hmm.
From what I see and I feel, most we think that others are capable of doing things. Us, we are just here to use them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's the opposite. We are the ones who are able of making things. No one really cares about making them. As an artist, your hands is, even though you have to think, write it about it, develop it, theorize it and everything else, it is your hands that will take it to the next level, to make it visible. And I want to keep my roots. When you make something visible, it connects directly with the people around you. You evoke something out of them. Because my hands are also nostalgic as well. They relate to what we are.
So I think the niqab just means a lot to me because it is definitely my past. It might be my future, I don't know. But because I'm so young and I'm still like trying to understand what it means to people, it definitely is something that I'm looking into understanding more rather than like what it means to me yet.
This object has got several meanings to me as a person, to me as a Zimbabwean woman. It is very symbolic. It has many uses. You can use it for when you have harvested your crops, for example, groundnuts, nyimo, indluwo, and other granary crops. So you use it for winnowing. This is what we call winnowing.
It focuses a bit on distraction and getting people to know that there is much more than themselves. It is not just what they speak or what they are that make them. Sometimes when you are quiet, you are still yourself. When you're making a drawing, it is much more to it than just lines and brushes and pencils. Like I said before, see, when you're making something with your hands, it would be like if you go for a walk in the park. You don't enjoy getting back home. You enjoy the walk itself, the contemplation of the moment. The process is what makes you. It's like this little time when you are lost in yourself will allow you to learn it. And I've done this like for many, many years selling fish. Fixing fish in the frozen water. Playing with fish in the ice, As my father, they were fishing by the sea.
I think I never really thought about it, not until I was very much. It's like a flashback memory kind of thing where you really have to sit down and think about it because you don't get to see this no more. You're in Britain, women are free, women get to wear whatever they want. Obviously, it's not. It's like a much more privileged, situation compared to like women in Yemen and how they're treated there.
Yeah.
But you don't really get to think about it because it's in your past.
It symbolizes that in life there is chaff and there is stuff which you should keep. So if you hear things which represent chaff, like for example here in the UK, what represents chaff is racism, discrimination, isolation. You can just and it blows away. So it keeps my mental well-being in good check. And most importantly, you see, it is round. It has no start, it has no end. So this is a symbol of unity. So unity does not just come naturally. You have to make a choice and a decision that whatever I will work in unity with others. As you can see, the different types of ilala which has been used here, they've all been used teamwork.
Islamically, when you wear a face veil, it's just your own choice. So you can wear it to just be, yourself. It's a type of expression. You're supposed to express yourself that way, and your piousness, your religiousness. It's also kind of like an isolation, like a religious isolation, where you don't want to be involved with anyone else around you, especially outside of your own comfort, your own home. So I feel like it's a type of like disguise, but also like a mental disguise. Sometimes you just need to be yourself, and if it takes you wearing a face veil and being confident enough to go out like that, that's your thing. But I guess in Yemen it's just not the same. It's just controlling. Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable. Yes. But this is where I am. I have to manage that so that I can make it comfortable. And why I'm not comfortable is the background which I have just given you. It's about the way immigrants are perceived, and what is missing in that narrative or discourse is about colonization, the British Empire, the after effects of that. It is, most of the time, it is not mentioned. We are here because they were there in the first place. And we are the after effects, negative or positive. It's for individuals or the government to judge. But that is where, because we cannot answer being comfortable in a single sentence. There is a background to that. To say, why is it that I'm not comfortable? Or why is it that I am comfortable being a person of color, a woman of color? Yeah.
The place we moved to in Liverpool was pretty interesting as well, because I didn't really. It was Tuxteth, and the area in Liverpool is called Tuxteth, but the area is known to be like another. Like, for example, you have your Manchester's Moss Side, and a lot of like ethnic community, like the ethnic minority, just lived there. So it was pretty like crazy to me to go out and like see recognizable Arabic on like the shop, banners and stuff. Considering like the way I viewed Britain or America to be is just the way in the movies, like you wouldn't see like a busman that has like Arabic writing on the banners and stuff. So that was really interesting, and I was like, wow, like my people are actually here. There's people that are like me that live here.
I'm living in one side. It's pretty good because I'm close to the ones who look more like me. The Jamaicans make me feel comfortable. At the same time, they make me feel defending something or culturally. And university as well was a big help, because the fact I was in uni led me to know people that are in similar position as me, people that have no idea, that have a complete lack of knowledge about people like me. The generation that like my age when I came here, in my 20s, in Manchester, they brought me comfort. Not all of them, but most of the youngsters that were in Manchester, they have allowed me to open my personality, to be eccentric as I want, to move my hands when I want, when I speak, to shout when I want. Because it is not by the fact that I am English and I speak a correct language that I should be able to shout in the street. 10 years ago, the country has changed. Mentality is being transformed by politicians. I don't feel that it is correct, because they're blaming the migrants because the economy is falling. Most of the countries in Europe, the economy fell. Since Brexit started, or other places in Europe, they kind of becoming, can I say, how do you call them? Nationalists. So, it's not even because I'm black anymore.
Whether you are in the east or whether you are in the west, but warm is best. I am Zimbabwean, and every day, whilst living in Britain, I am reminded that I am Zimbabwean. So there is no way. It's about managing that, telling myself this is where I am right now, and this is what I concentrate on. Because everything right now, particularly after this post-Brexit, is about immigrants. Even that Brexit, it was about immigration, these people. So it is there, you see it, you breathe it, you feel it, you walk through it, and it's part of life. This is the Britain as it is.
It's not the fault of like the people that just live there and trying to live their life, but I would say my parents were most scared for my family that lived there. My grandma lives there. I lived with her for 8 years of my life before I came here. So it was kind of like a strong bond that we had together. You know, she raised me, and yeah, it's really scary to think that she could, you know, just casually die because of things like this that she was not a part of. Yeah, you always kind of like have the fear of losing a lot of family, but also guilt that you kind of, you know, like, why are you here? Why are you not there helping them? But we're also like trying to survive, you know. They're all very fearful for their family, and I guess that's why a lot of them try to bring a lot of their family here.
Portugal, in the month of January, there is an MP that joined the parliament in Portugal. And she joined the parliament through the Green Party. One of the first things she asked was for the Portuguese government to give back the artifacts that belong to countries like Cape Verde. Artifacts that they're not relevant for the history of Portugal. Artifacts that belong to Cape Verde by right, or to Guinea, or Brazil even. One of the persons that is actually candidating himself to be the next president, he told this lady, no, instead of us giving back these artifacts to your country or any other countries, we should give you back to your own country, no. Since the month of January, the discussion in Portugal was that Portugal is not racist. Even though the man candidating himself to be the next president is saying that we should send this woman back to our country instead of giving back the artifacts that ours by right.
Actually, it strips you of your being a human being. For me and others, as we have talked about these experiences, whilst drowning down our sorrows in a foreign land, is you are not allowed to work whilst you are waiting for your decision, which can take up to 6 months. That condition is untenable. You cannot live without working. That's why people will go underground and work illegally. Because how can you survive? How can you survive if you are not allowed to work? So going through that process, it reduces you to nothing, to a waste, to a cabbage, to, or I don't know how else to express that. However, because I have a faith, we have a faith as Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans, I read again in the newspaper, the most resilient people in the whole world. So with that, our faith, our resilience, right? Say you never give up. You don't say no, you don't accept no for an answer. So you fight. You just have to fight. I have children then, they wanted to go to school. Even forgetting about children going to maintain my professionalism, which I came in this country with, that I am a qualified, degreed teacher. I have to, and suddenly, there I am. I don't have a job. As a woman, there are things I need, toiletries. Where will I get them from? We are not talking of makeup. We are talking of basic things for a woman. So how was I going to cater for that? So you defy the order and you just say, can I sweep your house? And you set yourself into exploitation, because you are saying, can I clean your house, whatever you give me? So you've set yourself into exploitation, which is not, and we are talking of human rights, a track record of human rights. How do you treat those who are vulnerable and weak within your and within your country or within your constituents. A human being is still a human being. So it was very draining, but you have to find coping mechanisms to come out of it. No one will do it for you, but you have to.
Like, I think my nana and my mum encouraged me to wear it one time, and I was just like this little short kid who had like their face in the carbon, and I just felt like I could do so much just because no one knew like who what you. It's like, look at me, like, you don't worry about it, like, you don't have to see me, don't worry about it. It's just me. You don't, like, I think I was definitely excited, but I didn't know what was exciting about it. I just thought, like, what, you're gonna be like your mom, you're gonna be like your aunties, you're gonna be like your nana when you go out. Is exciting. It's like, what, you're gonna be this grown woman. You can finally wear a niqab. Then when I came to Britain, I think it was more of a, like, you don't have to, but also if you do, it's you're odd one out. It's a taboo thing here.
I would feel incomplete. Yes. That, that emptiness, that vacuum. There's something will always be missing within me, particularly myself as a mother, as a grandmother. I would be incomplete. I wouldn't say I am a full Zimbabwean. I would consider myself as a quarter Zimbabwean. And not having this, I won't be the community leader I am. I won't be the rightful role model to the younger generation. So it wouldn't happen anyway. It's like having a prime minister without the advisors. It can't. Or without living in number 10.